Good evening, sir. How are you?
Absolutely. How about yourself?
Incredible.
Hey, John.
We're gonna get you pulled. We're gonna
Good evening.
Hey, Mr. Hicks.
We're gonna get you pulled in here. John. Get him pulled in here in a second. Let me see. John.
Hey, Gilmo.
There you go.
John
I'm
Hoffman.
How you guys doing? Nice
Good
seeing
evening,
you.
guys.
Jim.
Good seeing everybody. Good seeing everybody. All right, guys. So we are going to go right into introductions. Thanks, guys, for being patient and working with us, and we're looking forward to a great 2022. So we're gonna start with the introductions. I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda first. She can get started first here, and then we'll go from Sharanda to John Hoffman. Then I'll go after that, and then we're gonna get moving and start talking about a few different things. So hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you guys are having the start of a great week. And Sharanda, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
All righty. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the CDLP Club. My name is Sharanda Ivy, state trainer for CDLP state trainer for Georgia. Been with Legal Shield now. This will be my 9th year with the company. Business Solutions is my major, 50K ring earner. Been working in this space. We've earned over 1,000. I don't know how many we did last year, but 1,000 production award. And we got Ladies of Justice Field Trainer of the Year. And so we got one of those Ladies of Justice award. Just like coming to this space here, definitely pick CDLP Business Solutions as my major, CDLP as my niche market. Love to definitely help the drivers cross-selling this plan from small biz to the family and CDL and everything in between. So just appreciate you guys plugging in, because this call here changed my business. So I hope that we can do the same for you guys. I am training the upcoming class on the 5th with Alan Roman. And I also host the accountability call on Thursday nights. So with that, I pass it over to John.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm glad I can be here again 2 weeks in a row. It's a record for me, I think. But traffic in LA was brief today with the holiday, Martin Luther King Day. But I was out field training today with an associate from the Inland Empire area, and it was a fun time to go out there and talk to essential workers. So I'm always open for that. I was looking for Tyson Farrington. I think he's on this call a lot too, because I'm working with him tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock in the morning my time to make some calls with him. But so if anybody who want to do any of those early morning calls, let me know, and I can go on them with you on a three-way call or maybe a previous Zoom call. But I've been in the CDLP market in the environment with Legal Shield for 13 years, and the commercial certified trainer for everything west of the Rockies, I guess. Everything else is east of the Rockies for the trainers that are out there. So we can always use more of you out there if you live out in the western states. But that's pretty much it. Looking forward to a successful year with CDLP. They're even more essential than before. All right, Robert, go ahead.
All right. So appreciate you guys, trainers, and Sharon as well, field trainer. And my name is Robert Dunbar. I've been with Legal Shield 13 years. Been a trainer with the company now, I guess 7 to 8 years. Started on the networking side training, and now I'm on the business solution side, CDLP side training. Been doing that for about 4 years. 100K ring earner, 250K ring earners on my team. Really, guys, we're really here to help. We know that you get certified, you get certification training. Once that happens, the question is, what's next, right? What do you do after you take your certification? So for those that's been with us for any amount of time, you know that this is your baby shower. Not this, but the CDLP certification is your baby shower. That is where you get the free gifts. That is where everybody, celebrates you for taking the course or refreshing, getting certified. But then after that, guys, you got to go out, right, and provide for that child yourself. So this call on Mondays allows you to get tips and hacks and things that you can do to go out in the field and get busy. And then Thursday night, that's a little more streamlined, where Sharanda Ivy and that team, and just so you guys aren't mistaken, because I do get these calls and text messages, and I know Sharanda does too, because it's her call. You don't have to have a group to get on her accountability call. You don't have to have a DM appointment scheduled to get on her call, but you do have to actively be making dials or going out and talking to companies. Like, she wants you to be actively doing things so that you can participate on that call and not just be listening. That's not a listening party, right? So there's really nobody in the stands in that game. Everybody's on the field, if that makes sense. So Sharanda, when you start back talking, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but you guys don't have to have a group open. You don't have to be opening a group at the moment, but you do have to be actively making some dials, going out. Like, you want to be actively working in that space, not just listening to hear what everybody else is doing. So make sure you understand that before you get on that Thursday call. You can find that Thursday accountability call on the Facebook page. Just go to the area where we have our saved announcements, and then scroll down till you see a colorful welcome sign. And that colorful welcome sign is the link for her accountability call. So make sure you get plugged into that. Again, you'll see some things on the Facebook page for the February, I believe it's February 5th, CDLP with Alan Roman and Sharanda Ivy. And I will be posting a banner on the screen as well. Sorry about that. I see everything. I'm talking to her. So I'll have a banner up on the Facebook page, and it will have the details there. And I'm sure Alan will continue to post videos, and Sharanda will continue to post videos, and so will Dawn Maples and everybody else. So let's get everybody registered for that class who needs to do a retake. Remember, every time you're hearing from a different trainer, it's fresh, it's new, it's some different things, and it's a little bit more structured than being on here or being on Sharanda's call. So you will get something out of it. So get yourself plugged in there. What we're going to be talking about today is a few different things. We're going to answer a couple of questions that have come across our desk, and we're going to talk about some things like phone burners and selling the small business plan and things of that nature as well. And as we throw these questions out there, of course, the trainers, if you guys can speak on this, because this is not my call. This is a trainer CDLP sales motivation call. So I'm going to throw a couple of things out there and then open it up for the trainers to speak on it and give their different opinions. Because sometimes it's not a right or wrong, it's a preference, and some trainers train a different way, and people in the field learn better through those different people. So that's why we want the opinions of all the different trainers here as we go over certain things. So one of the first things I want to touch on is something I had a conversation with somebody earlier. And if you guys following us, if everybody's kind of understanding where we at on all this, guys, just throw a 1 in the chat and put a 2 in the chat if you're going to be registering for the CDLP certification training with Alan Roman and Sharanda Ivy in February. So put a 2 in the chat if you're going to be registering, and put a 1 in the chat if you understand what our program is going to be today, right? So got a question. If a person has a ticket in their vehicle, personal vehicle, and they're a CDL driver with a CDL plan, should they call their local law firm, or should they call the CDLP law firm? So my response to that was, whenever you have a CDL license, you should always call the transportation law firm, because the transportation law firm understands all the different dynamics that can take place with a CDL license, meaning that they can't mask, meaning that it affects the insurance of the company. It affects so many other things for a CDL driver. So I think it's in the best interest to call the CDLP side on that. Don't call your personal membership if you have the family plan, because you always want a CDL licensed driver to have a transportation attorney in the courtroom defending them when they have a CDL license. That's why I say always use the CDL side of the membership. I don't care if they're on a motorcycle, a four-wheeler out of town in a rental car. It does not matter. A CDL licensed person, even if they're saying, well, I'm not really actively using my license right now, doesn't matter. In my opinion, if you have a CDL license, you should be having a transportation lawyer in the courtroom. So I'm gonna open it up to Sharanda first, ladies first on that, and then Sharanda, you can pitch it on over to Mr. John Hoffman. But that's my take on that question. So, floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, you're correct. Absolutely. We have to understand when we speak to these prospects or these clients and they say, oh yeah, I have a CDL, but I don't drive anymore. The law doesn't look at that. The law doesn't ask them that. The endorsement sees them as a commercial driver, and so they're held to the standard of a professional driver. Our plan does not cover a CDL endorsed holder under our family legal plan. That portion about traffic, if that driver has a CDL endorsement, that family plan does not cover that CDL holder. So I always use the scenario of the PBR. So you get started, you have a PBR, you invite your family and friends. That's what we train to say, make a list. Well, Cousin Jim comes to the PBR, but we're talking legal and identity theft plans. Cousin Jim drives a truck. So, you know, everybody's talking about the moving traffic violations, this, because we're at that point, normally haven't dissected the list. So Cousin Jim gets a legal plan and he goes out and he gets a ticket or a citation and he calls the, Jim, where you at? California law firm. And he calls the law firm over there and they say that'll be at a 25% discount because they're going to ask him some questions in the intake. And when they find out that he's a CDL holder, that's going to fall on the 25% discount if he only has that family legal plan, because that portion of our plan does not cover an individual that drives commercially. Whether he's actively driving a vehicle or not, that's not what the law is looking for. The law is checking for that endorsement. So you have to explain to your carriers, I understand, Jim, that you don't drive anymore. You jump in the truck every now and then. But if you get pulled over and me without a CDL endorsement, and you get stopped as well for the same charge, you're held at a higher standard than I am because you're a CDL holder. And when it comes to our plan, that family plan does not cover that CDL driver. It falls in a 25% discount. So he, Mr. Owner or whoever, when they tell you that, and a lot of them had a guy this morning tell us that this morning. Oh, I don't drive anymore. You drive every single day, sir, to get you from A to B. And whatever happens, whether you run into the gas station or to the grocery store, when you get pulled over and pull out that license, because they only have one license, that CDL is just an endorsement that's on the license. Like I'm a veteran, I have a little thing that says veteran, a little flag. Their license says CDL license. And so our family plan does not cover that. It falls in a 25% discount. So you just have to educate your driver. And if he chooses not to get that, you did your part by educating him. But do know whether he is actively driving a commercial vehicle every single day or not. He still has a CDL. And so he still needs our CDL plan. I hope that helps somebody. Over to John.
Okay, well, I have a unique experience. I happened today, actually, for a group I handle with Alan Roman out here. It's a trucking company that has both Class A drivers and also Class C drivers, which are normal drivers like what we have. They're called concierge drivers for this group, but they drive professionally. So anybody that drives for a living really is better off with our commercial driving plan, even though they're not commercial drivers. I like to call professional drivers legal plan. In this particular group today, there were 3 drivers, and all of them, none of them have got a Class A license, but all of them got the commercial driving plan because they realized the importance of keeping their license clean because that's a way of earning a living. So anybody that works behind the wheel of a car or even a truck for a living needs our professional driver's legal plan or commercial driver's legal plan. I'm not sure about the other states, but I know in California, if you call the California attorney, if you are a California resident, about a traffic ticket you got in California, they're going to advise you on how you can defend the ticket yourself. They will not go to court for you. But I do know if you go out of state and get a ticket, and you're a California resident, from what I understand, the attorney will go to court for you. At least that's what they teach us in the training. But for people that are residents of California, if you use our California state attorney, they'll just advise you on how to defend your ticket. They won't go to court for you. So that's when I stress the importance of if you use your license to make a living, to depend on that living, get the commercial driver legal plan, and that way they're fully protected because you will have an attorney definitely go to court for you to represent you to keep your license clean and your way of earning a living intact. Your insurance costs low. You don't have to worry about CSA points for those types of drivers. They don't have to worry about logbooks, but they still have to worry about points on their record and insurance cost. So yeah, I mean, anybody that drives for a living, market first a CDLP plan, then the family plan for everything else that happens in life. Alan calls it distracted driving, when things enter their mind while they're driving for a living. That's when that other plan comes into play. For the family plan, that's when that comes into play. And they also cover their children also too for things like tragic accident representation. But for a professional driver or commercial driver, that CDLP plan has got the best value for protecting your license.
Okay. You have to understand too that most of these drivers, a lot of them just don't know the law. And if they never gotten pulled over, say recently or outside of the truck, they feel they're good. Like it just hadn't happened to them. So if it hasn't happened to them, they feel like that's not how it goes. But just know that our plan it'll fall on a 25% discount because they have that endorsement. So you just, like I said, the guy this morning, he was adamant. I don't drive, I don't get in the truck anymore. That's what he kept saying. But he has an endorsement. So all you can do is educate him and keep moving. But just know that if they do call, they're going to find themselves with that legal plan at a 25% discount if they don't have the CDL. So that's why we're adamant about making sure you sell it right, because there's a lot of drivers out there that has Legal Shield and has had it for a long time, but they only have the family plan. So you have to be careful with that and ask questions. So just know that, because they can get kind of ugly thinking they're good. So that helps.
So the next question is one that is a very common question. We always hear this question, but I know there's a little bit of a more detailed answer that can be given, because we don't want people to confuse waiting for a person to deal with the ticket. So the question was, if a person has a ticket, when you meet them and say, I got a ticket today, I got a ticket yesterday, can y'all fight this at no cost? Or can y'all fight this? Because the driver never says at no cost because they don't really know our plan. So that driver is saying, I'm a driver and Sharon is talking to me, or I call Sharon because she prospected me 2 months ago. And I said, hey, Miss Sharon, I'm giving you a call. I just got a ticket. Like, if I get your membership, like, can y'all go ahead and take care of this ticket for me? So the answer is yes, we can, but it's going to be at a 25% discount. Because remember, with our plan, there's an 11-day waiting period before we have to fight a ticket at no cost. So even if they had gotten the ticket 3 days after they had signed up, it would still be at a 25% discount. So just because it's at a 25% discount, or just because, right? And if you guys follow what I'm saying, put a 3 in the chat. Just because we say there's an 11-day waiting period, that doesn't mean that the person has to wait to fight their ticket. That just means that they have to pay a 25% discount to fight the ticket. You guys follow that? So if you got a driver that gets a ticket on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, blah, 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 right? Or got a ticket before you enroll, they can fight the ticket right away. It's just at a 25% discount. They also cannot say, oh, I got a ticket on day 2 and I waited until day 14 to send it to the law firm. So because I waited, I didn't put my first ticket in until after 14 days, because obviously the law firm is going to look at the date that the ticket was written or the citation of violation and say, no, you got this on this day. You enrolled on this day. It was 2 days after you enrolled, 25% discount. So I know it may seem elementary to some of you guys that's been doing it for some time, but there's some new people on here. There's some people on here that's confused, that have heard it before but never sold. So just wanted to clear that up. That's my opinion on my answer for that. So I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda for her to talk about it next.
Right. So that question has come up a lot. I had associates call and ask about it after the fact, but they told the driver they gotta wait, the 11th day. And most drivers, they're gonna call you after the fact. So if you prospected them 9 times out of 10, if they don't get it then, they're gonna call you after the fact. That driver does not have to wait. I mean, it's already pre-existing. Go ahead and, help them do an intake, to the law firm, because they don't have to wait if they've gotten a ticket. So, and like Dunbar said, I've heard that too. Somebody got the plan, got a ticket within the waiting period, and then they waited and thinking that they, it will be covered. The legal fees will be covered. It doesn't work that way. It's still at a 25% discount. And a lot of times, drivers will ask you, can y'all help with that? And even with any plan, when people say that, they want to know if they got to pay any money. That's what their question is. You have to interpret it that way. That's what they're asking. They're not asking, can we help? They're asking, are they going to have to pay any money? Yeah. We can't say that they're not. You have to cover. And CDL is, cover any costs, court costs or any fines associated with, with the case. But still, we don't know how much that's going to be. Can't give them no general idea. One case is different than the next. So if you had a client before that had that and they told you how much they paid, don't go out there and quote prices, because it's all different. But you're right. So that's how it goes with the waiting period. So John, I can turn it over to you.
Well, that's what will happen if you pass out enough of your business cards to drivers out there. You're going to find out they're going to call you after they get the ticket. And that's in our plan still works wonders to give it the 25% discount, even better than our competition, which you might be familiar out there is TVC, I like to refer to. They charge way more than what our attorneys charge for the services. Even if they are a member of TVC, our pre-existing ticket is price for members that they have at TVC. So you have it sold right. If you explain it the right way, take it easy for 11 days. 11 days, you have that service. We don't want you to use it, but you're glad to have it if you need to use it. We don't encourage you to break the law, of course. But a lot of times it's just a lot of people around them that will cause them that ticket, whether it's be a wrong lane violation or following too close. And those are the type of tickets that the drivers are facing out there all the time. Even before they get the membership, they're always facing those types of tickets. But it's like to always help the drivers use the membership the first and Riggs and Abney is very accommodative to our legal associates while we are on the phone with the drivers, helping them use their membership. And even some of the attorneys too. I've talked to some of the attorneys that have had a problem with maybe communicating with the member sometimes about using the membership. where we can get involved in helping them get the best possible results out of the membership. But the CDLP plan membership by far is, I mean, I feel is our best service that we have at Legal Shield. Although, our state provider attorney is great. Our CDLP plan membership really does a job. It's paid.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so got that one. So got another question. So you got a driver who wants to become an owner operator, right? And they're like, hey, I want to become an owner operator. What can I do? You might be having that conversation with the person who's driving for somebody else that's saying that they want to do that. And I wanted to let you know that if they're going to become an owner operator, it's an opportunity for you to open that up as a group, sell them a small business plan, sell them a CDL plan, sell them a family plan. Open it up as a group, give them group rates. If you don't want to wait until they've gotten their authorization and all of that kind of stuff to start doing that, then go ahead and just sell them the CDLP and the family plan. If that person already has their company formed, and they're like, I formed a transportation company, but I'm waiting to get my authority, but whatever, then you can go ahead and sell them a small business plan because their business has been started. Sell them a small business plan, CDL plan, because they have a CDLP license, CDL license, and then sell them a family plan. That's how I would approach that. As far as them getting their authorization, and again, I'm going to mention this because Sharanda Ivy does this stuff, and she's not going to bring it up because she's not going to say that on the call because she don't want to make it seem like she's selling herself on that. But I'm going to talk about it. So I asked her permission. Could I do it? So if somebody calls you and says, "Hey, I'm a driver. I want to become an owner operator. I need to get my own authority," like, don't try to figure that out for them. Sharanda knows how to do that already. So call Sharanda. Do the three-way call with Sharanda. She can talk their language. She can get them set up with her logistics company to get the authorization. She's going to help you make your sale for CDLP and in the business plan or whatever. And she'll make her money on her logistics company doing all that stuff for the driver. That's what she's in business to do. You keep it in-house, let her take care of that for your driver, but get your driver wrapped around all the things that they need to have with Legal Shield so that they're protecting themselves. And let her handle that stuff. So I would suggest contacting her, hitting her link and letting her know what you're trying to do so she'll know what you need her for. Have her work with that account with you so that she can do that. That's what I would suggest with that. If that comes across your desk, don't try to figure that out. Don't be trying to study data queue. Guys, you're in Legal Shield. That's what you do. You do Legal Shield. Sharanda does logistics and Legal Shield, right? Know how to stay in your lane and bring other people in that know how to do specific things, right? So if somebody's calling me and they've got a company in California and they're saying, "Hey, I got this stuff going on," but I'm not going to California. I ain't doing nothing, got to do none of that. I'm going to contact John Hoffman to say, "Hey, look, this is the deal." He knows what he's doing. He's out there already. That's how it's going to work. If the person is up in the Virginia, Maryland area, I'm going to hit up Sharon and see whether Sharon is up there, whether she's down here, because she's in both places sometimes. So you got to reach out to people. Right. So for me personally, I'm gonna turn this over to Sharanda from here. But me personally, this is the year of collaboration for me. That's what I've deemed year 2022. You're gonna see me doing a whole lot of stuff with other people. Year of collaboration. Like, gotta start working more conveniently and make more money by doing business with other people that know what they're doing. Be careful who you choose to work with, but just keep in mind, you want to make sure that you collaborate with the right people. But guys, my goal is to do $250,000 in income and work 20 hours a week. Can't do that without collaborating, guys. Got to do that with collaboration. So partner with somebody that know what they're doing. So if somebody calls you, want to be an owner operator, get them on the phone with Sharanda, do your Legal Shield deal, let her do her logistics deal and move forward from there. So Sharanda, I'm turning over to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you'll be surprised out in the field. A lot of guys want to get their own authority, but the plan we have, our CDLP plan, protects them, helps them, because if they have a bad record, they're not going to be able to get an authority because it's based off their insurance, the insurance is based off their driving record. So no matter what the driver is, we want to protect all drivers, because if they inspire one day to have their own authority, they need to understand that they need to protect their CDLs like they breathe air. Honestly, it costs them a lot of money trying to start up with a bad record. But some of them just can't afford the insurance because their records are so bad. So just every driver you come across, just educate them and share this plan. So, because a lot of them do want to get their own company. So, but they can't do that if they got bad driving records. So just remember that when you meet a driver. So thank you for that, Dunbar.
I'm actually finding more of a trend out there lately where a lot of these companies that have drivers on their staff are actually getting out of the business, and they are having the drivers get their own authority, and the company's acting as a broker now for those drivers. They're keeping them busy, but they're not using the company's authority. They're encouraging drivers to get their own authority, which means that the drivers are on their own. So that opens the door to the commercial driving plan and the family plan with the home-based supplement. Of course, these drivers that go across country, I think that with that interstate service, that 169 plan plus the hourly, the 14.95 hour defense is just $3 a day for a driver that goes cross country. It's still cheap for the kind of driver, because he is making a lot of money going across country, especially if they're specialty drivers like flatbed drivers, or hazmat drivers, or reefer drivers. Those are the ones that make most of the money, or these heavy equipment haulers that all these big pieces of machinery. They make a lot of money, and the 183.95 for that plan is nothing to them. So pay attention to who you're marketing to. If they're just a container driver, they make the least amount of money, or just a dry van, a dry box, they make the least amount of money. But these other drivers you see with flatbeds or reefers or hazmat or fuel haulers, heavy equipment haulers, if you're talking to that type of driver, and they're going 48 states or even out of state where they're home based in, market that better legal plan for them, because it helps them in interstate matters, whether it be bill collection, or maybe they got a mechanical issue with a truck they had fixed out of state and it breaks down again, and they need help on it. Those are the types of issues that they face. As far as independent owner operators, the least you want to go with is the family plan with the home-based supplement and the driver plan. That's the least amount you want to go with them on that. All right, Robert.
I'll jump in there. I'm gonna give you guys an example. I had a carrier last week call. This is first year in business. When he got started, he had two trucks. He's a hot shot, and our truckers make a lot of money. John named some high paying trucks, but people in the industry are making money. They're making six figures or more. That's a lot of money to these individuals that haven't made that kind of money before. The ones John called, if the little guy is making six figures, you can only imagine what the ones he called with hazmat, the flatbeds. They're making a lot of money. But this guy started with two trucks. He just was a hot shot. They CDL holders. When he got his insurance a year ago, last February, he paid I think it was $8,000 for two trucks. He went to renew. He's coming up on renewing. And last week, I happened to be on the phone with him when he opened the mail, and so his down payment for his renewal is $20,000. And that's because he's added, he has a total of 6 trucks now. But it's not the trucks that is hurting him, it's that the drivers' driving records are bad. These guys are speeding. One of the things I always remember getting on this call when Lamar and Dunbar used to talk about the equipment that gets stopped the most, flatbeds and containers and hot shots because they're exposed. And so that's what these guys, they have hot shots, and it's, you know, a little small, like dualies and things like that. But they have a bad driving record now. In a year, this company's only been running for a year, and he went from 8,000 to 20,000 down. So like John had said in the last conversation, where these investors and these owners, they are giving the responsibility over to the owner operator instead of letting them lease up under them. They're making them get their own authority. So all the legal and all the money falls on the owner, the individual who owns the equipment, not the investor who owns the authority. So there's a lot of things coming out, and I will be talking about a lot of that on the training, how we can take advantage of just exposing every driver we know, because come February 7th, the rules and regulations are going to change. And these guys are going to get pulled over and ridden up more, put out of service. A lot of them, you know, are not going to be able to work because, you know, the rules and regulations have changed. So you want to talk to as many people as you can, because they just don't understand. They don't understand the laws. They don't understand these violations. They pay them easily. They have what they call those consultant companies out there that are selling them the dream, but those individuals can't move those violations. And these people are just paying them a whole lot of money to do a whole lot of nothing. And so when you walk into a company or call a company and they say, oh, I have a company that does that for me, if you've done your research and that company's bad, don't be quick to hang up. Don't be quick to walk away, because the company is having problems. That's why you're calling. So just posture up and let them know, hey, I understand you're working with someone, but I'm calling because the numbers are still high. And have some conversation, ask some questions. I had a guy last week, I was calling during the blitz, and he was like, I have a company that helped me with that. I said, I wouldn't be calling if the company was doing what it was supposed to do. His numbers was 52% and 20-something%. But he thought they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. But they're selling them a dream because they don't understand. So you have to know. So just like this guy's getting ready to pay $20,000 down for insurance, there's a whole lot of other people out there paying that too, because their violations are so bad. And they're quick to pay them because they don't know. That's what they think they're supposed to do. So, you know, just know that we can help them. And, you know, maybe can't help on what's on the book, but going forward, you know, like I always say, you know, they can afford it. They really can. So don't count your money against their money, because they can afford it. They're making 6 figures. Some of them making 6 figures a week, depending on how many assets they have. So just so you know. But I just wanted you to hear those numbers, because that's what those people are paying out there, just to keep those trucks running. That's just a hot shot. That's a little asset. Semis are paying a whole lot more. So.
Yeah, where they got surrendered was they're paying between $10,000 and $20,000 per truck.
He was paying 2. He was paying 8 for 2. Now he's up to 6, and he's fixing to pay 20,000 down. But his safety score is just out of the roof. It's just bad, and it's negligence of things that they should. One guy got pulled over last week, and they needed the annual inspection for the truck. He was too lazy to look for it. It was in the truck. They got written up for that. Whereas he didn't think it was a big deal, not the owner. It's a big deal. So they need us. Like John said, I think we have the CDLP plan is the most important plan we have on the book.
So, Melissa Shaw asked about whether insurance companies give discounts because they have CDL. I can't say that nobody does, but we don't market that because we have no proof that they do. And you definitely want to get yourself in a situation where you see there's no way you would know whether they could. The best you could do with that is ask them to ask their insurance companies, but I don't know any that does. That will give a discount because they have a CDL legal plan. So that's my answer to that, Sharanda.
So there's a lot of people getting into trucking called investors, just like real estate. And even though that investor, he may not hold a CDL. And like Dunbar said, I'm just saying this, but this isn't the conversation you want to get into if you not really know. And when an individual goes and get their authority, and their authority is the MC number, the motor carrier, the ability to drive out of state. That's the authority when we say authority. So if that investor does not hold a CDL, his insurance is higher because he's at a risk. He's a risk to the insurance company. So if the owner, because the owner has to go on the insurance, whether he's going to drive that truck or not, whether he owns a CDL or not, he still has to go on that insurance. But if he has a CDL, of course, the insurance will be lower. But if an investor goes and starts a company and a commercial driver who has a CDL endorsement starts a company, it depends on a lot of different things, but the investor who doesn't hold a CDL insurance is going to be higher. So that's when you hear discounts. That's how that works with that. But yeah, that's a conversation. That plan doesn't do anything or have anything to do with that. Like Dunbar said.
All right, good stuff. I didn't know nothing about that. So see, look, we got the logistics specialist on here. So Melissa, if put a point in the chat. Melissa said that help. Oh, she said thank you. Okay, good stuff. What you gonna say, Sharanda?
No, I was just, George was asking what authority is. Authority is the MC, the motor carrier number gives them the ability to drive over state lines. Some carriers just have a DOT number, so they're intrastate, so they stay within the state.
Here, Sharanda, what's the difference between the MC number, like the MC number and the DOT number? You know how it's got both on safer? What's the difference?
Every company has to have a DOT number, Department of Transportation number. The motor carrier number is the motor carrier number. It gives them the ability to drive over state lines. It's the authority.
Gotcha. Okay. And Dale Falk asked, what is the maximum amount of CSA points a company can have before they are shut down?
Not sure. Lamar has said it before. John, you remember Lamar used to say it all the time. It used to be like, I know maybe drivers is like, no, I ain't gonna call out a number. I got a number in my head. But
I think I know the number too.
I don't know, but Lamar used to say it all the time. I can't remember exactly. Joe, you know the exact number? Because the drivers have a limit too.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a number, but especially if you got a company with a large amount of drivers, I don't know how that could be applicable. But to give you an example, I got one of my large companies here. They had a driver, got in an accident in Pennsylvania, hit 3 cars and a building and tried to run over a person at the same time. He got put in jail for 2 weeks and was assessed 14 points on his license. He was one of our members. Called the attorney, and the attorney says, well, I can probably get your license back in June, but no one's going to hire you with that record. But imagine the CSA points that he got assessed just from that one driver to that company. They're probably, I'm sure the company's insurance rates went sky high after that. But that's the damage one driver can do, and just in a wrong situation at the wrong time.
recently I've been doing a lot of new cold calls, and some of the points are right at 100 for. I mean, these companies are real bad for one stop, and they're just bad. So Lamar used to say, but I'm not really sure. So hopefully he'll tell us when he comes back.
And when it comes to that too as well, isn't before they're just absolutely shut down, and I don't know the details on this because I'm not all involved in that part of it at all. They get DOT pretty much knocks on the door first before they just shut them down and does an audit correct. So it's not like just our points are high. Hey, we're walking in the front door and saying close up today. Don't they do an audit? Do they have to fill the audit form to shut the doors?
But they could, yeah. So like last week when I did my dials, I was telling Donna that it was 3 or 4 of the calls I made last week. They were all about 4 calls within an audit. I had one guy was waiting for 2 o'clock to come because DOT was coming to an on-site audit. So, and he had only been in business a year. That's just let you know how bad his numbers were, because that's what you have to tell them, that, you know, you're risking, because every new authority is going to get an audit at least within the first 18 months of being in business. And they have to understand too, when they start their trucking company, it's a trial period. It can be, that authority can be snatched away at any given point, and safety is being one of them. So yeah, so they can have what they call an on-site meaning they'll come to you or you go to them audit. And within this audit, they're going to go through that entire company, everything, all the records, everything. And they have to put in place. So if they fail any of that, they have to do what they call correction action plans. And if they don't correct it, that's why we see companies go into conditional and things like that. Because either they don't correct everything, or they just don't do a correction action plan. They just fail the audit and they'll go in a condition. And they'll tell them, oh, you can get this stuff, you know, cleaned up, fixed up, run by the rules, and then call back for another audit. But most companies are scared because they're scared the door is going to close because they don't do what they're supposed to do.
Some companies are faced by an endless circle of audits. They got a BIT audit, which is a state-run audit, then they have the DOT audit, then they get an insurance audit, and then the cycle begins again. And if they get a conditional rating, it can take up to 2 years for that to get cleared off their record. So just the financial harm that does, if they're not being safe, is tremendous.
Well, good stuff. So I think because I want to try to start ending at 9:30 like we're supposed to be. So we're gonna try that. I'm trying to exercise. So just giving you a heads up. Next week we're gonna have a conversation. It's gonna be a little bit detailed, not like lengthy, but a little bit detailed, because I'm starting to get a lot of people asking me about phone burners, and I don't want people using phone burners for the wrong reason and paying for a phone burner and not understanding how you use it. So stay tuned next week. We're going to talk a little bit about a phone burner. We're going to talk a little bit about working in your business versus on your business, vice versa, on your business versus in your business. Just looking at some different automated things that you can do as a business owner, and things that you probably shouldn't be doing unless you meet a certain qualification, meaning, and not a legal shield qualification, meaning that if you got 10 prospects, you don't need a phone burner. Is that okay to say? You don't need a phone burner with 10 prospects. You need a phone burner when you got a stack of trucking companies like Hoffman put up last week, where he's talking about, I got 5,000 prospects. That's when you need a phone burner if you're going to use one. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, because we don't want people buying into things thinking that they're going to make a bunch of money because they're buying a tool. Tools don't make money. We make money for our business by marketing and stuff properly. So we're going to go into that next week. But what I do want to cap off today with is, because I mentioned something last week, and I got some people that said, thanks for mentioning. I got some people that's like, oh, you may have not sort of told people that. look, guys, I'm not going to debate with the truth about stuff. That's just not who I am. We don't make a lot of money with the CDL plan. That's a fact. Whether you want to agree with it or not, it's a fact. It doesn't pay out a lot of money, that particular plan, especially if you compare it to the other plans that we offer. We really want you to really start putting a little bit of focus on bundling, offering both plans together, and going after companies and offering that small business plan. It's a very good plan to offer. It stays on the books for a considerable amount of time. It gives you a good hit on commission, and the business owners, the trucking company owners need it. There's a need for it. There's a want for it. It's a good product to sell. It's not a difficult sale. And it will help your bottom line, and it will help put a kind of a suite of products around that. So I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda, and then she can turn over to John, because Sharanda obviously is one of the masters in doing that. She has sold several small business plans, her and Donna both, together and separate. That's kind of part of her claiming fame, or her going in there and doing that, and she leads with that. So I mean, she can talk about it a little bit. It just makes sense to do it. So Sharanda.
Yeah, my thought on that is that the owner or the decision maker has to make the decision, and at the end of the day, that's their business. I just always led with small biz, because if I felt like if I could show the value of our coverage, then it would be okay for the owner to allow me to speak with, the drivers or whatever, or the employees. So I always try to show the value to the owner. And so the value is not always, let me, speak to your drivers to help your drivers. It's let me share with you what we have so we can help your company. Because what I learned in the process of learning that was, when you go in with saying, help your drivers, I don't have plenty of owners say, that's their deal. They shouldn't have got that citation anyway. I don't pay them. If they get that, they got to pay it themselves. If they get that, I'm going to fire them. And so what I learned, that every owner didn't like their drivers. So can you imagine me going in there trying to lead with help this plan, and this helps the driver, and this, all that? Everybody don't like their drivers. So I started to see the value proposition and what we could offer with the legal plan, with the small business plan, and then that, and at the end of the day, that CDLP plan helps that company. It helps the drivers too, protects their CDL, but for the most part, it helps that company too. So that's why I lead with that, and I cross sell because it's just so many different issues goes on with those guys, and we have the answer. So.
Anything on that, John?
Yeah, I want to give you some numbers on what's happening. The COVID crisis, of course, put truck inspections on hold for a little bit. They weren't as aggressive as they were before in the past. But people that took my training when I did it on CDLP, this is the form that I printed out that shows all the trucking companies that got fined for the year. Well, so far for fiscal 2022, which is just like 2.5 weeks old, 700 trucking companies have been fined on the sheet nationwide. If you extract that out to what a year will be, that's about, let's see, I had my phone here. It's almost 17,000 trucking companies are going to get fined if that trend continues, just because everybody was lax during COVID. They weren't doing on-site inspections, but now they're starting to do on-site inspections now. They're not afraid of COVID anymore. And these trucking companies that weren't paying attention to their safety scores or to the drivers, doing safety meetings, they're gonna get penalized and fined. These are the companies we gotta go after and offer them the protection for the drivers and for the business. Otherwise, they're gonna be out of business.
Thomas Jackson, John Hoffman did a whole training on that. He's talking about, he did that training after the week after he trained with Alan Roman. So it's on the replay. Good stuff, John.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that's at. So, John, whenever you train for CDLP, just let us know. And whatever he trained, the following week, it's that week's CDLP training. So it's that Monday after that Saturday, just so you guys know. So, and it was a really good training that he did. So go ahead and check it out. Go to the YouTube page and check that out. So
He did it in October.
October?
Because I did it September. Chris did it in November and wasn't one in December.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So whatever the date was for October, the October training, which I don't remember, but you guys can definitely pull it up, take a look at it. It's on the YouTube page, and just listen to it and see what he had to say, because it was really good. Give him some time to really say what he couldn't say, because in the CDL it's so tight. They're on the YouTube page. If you go to YouTube and go to Training by Dunbar, you will see all of my videos, but go down to the playlist for CDLP. It says weekly CDLP training, and then just go there. So it's the Monday after October 16th. Thanks, Barbara. The Monday after October 16th. So just go to the YouTube page, go to my YouTube page, Robert at Training, or just go to Training by Dunbar. You'll see playlist there. Go to the weekly CDLP there, and when you click it there, you'll see all of them, and they'll be labeled episode boom boom boom, but they'll have a date there too. So whatever one was the Monday after that October date that's up there, that's the right trainer. So appreciate you guys all for being here. I'm gonna let everybody, all the trainers, say something before they go. If they got something they want to mention before they go, just remember Sharanda Irie's training is February 5th. I put the link in the chat. I also put it on the YouTube, and the YouTube comments is there as well. So click there to get yourself registered for that training. So Sharanda?
Yeah, we have the accountability call on Thursday night. No, you don't have to have a group open, but definitely would love for you to already be practicing in the space. I can say, kudos to those people. I cleaned up my office this weekend. I used to write down everybody who used to get on that call every week, and it's about 25 strong that's been on there now for almost 2 years, and a lot of those people are the ones you see on the on the leaderboards and stuff like that, getting recognized. And so kudos to them for being accountable. I used to make you talk. You don't have to talk now, but if you don't talk, we're gonna ask you something, so you're gonna eventually have to talk. So, but yeah, it's a good group of people. I think they do a good job of we all just share, and they do a lot of sharing and giving tips. And so kudos to them for continuing to stick and stay. So yeah, so y'all have a great week. If you haven't got registered, get registered. Like I said, we sold out last time about 3 times. So, so yeah. So come on back.
Thank you all.
John, anything?
Yeah, we'll take that training from Sharanda. I need to learn from it too, because I spent $100 in gas today going out calling on prospects, and Sharanda can do it from her home. So it's getting expensive to go out there.
Yeah, I found my journal, Dunbar, when you came to Atlanta, my planner. And this is the activity. I mean, it was some serious activity that year. That was in 2019. Walking into companies with Donna. We first got started. It was all in this book. Right after you had came that summer before. But yeah.
No, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Activity, that's where it's at. Activity, activity, activity. So good stuff. So appreciate you guys all again for being on. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. This will be on the YouTube channel. Of course, it's already there because I do a live, so it's there now. But you can go back, look at it. I'm gonna try to start posting them again on the CDL page. I've just been really busy, but you can always go there and get it. So thank you guys all for being on. John, Sharanda, Sharon, thanks for hosting as always, for answering questions and all the stuff you do in the background. So everybody give Sharanda a holiday, a round of applause. Field trainer back there helping with all of the background, letting everybody in as coming and all that great stuff. So next week, guys, we're gonna start talking about phone burners and working on your business, not just in your business as business owners. And we're gonna continue working with all of our different coaching things and all of the different things to help you build into your business solution space here. So everybody have a great night.
Robert, bless your heart.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
I'm
great
so
night.
grateful it's
Thank
two
you.
different people. There's a Sharanda Ivy and a Sharon Holiday, but not a Sharanda Holiday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks for the humor. Thanks for the humor.
Thank you all. Have a good one. Good night, all.
Great one, Sam.
Thanks so
All right,
much.
go Rams.
Ain't a holiday. What in the world is going on?
Night, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good one, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.